Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, Helldivers. It has been about a week and a half now that we got the Super Helldive difficulty level 10, and after some testing, I have found the best way to keep that crowd control. Not necessarily the new meta loadout, but the best crowd control, because you will be getting swarmed by the smaller enemies and the medium enemies all in one. So here is the video to get that going. But before starting anything off, I do want to say that this is entirely a bug video for level 10, not the bots, because unfortunately with the bots, I was being tossed around like a rag doll and abused more than when I was with my ex-girlfriend. So for that case, let's not talk about the bots. We're going to focus entirely on bugs. Super Helldive level 10. Let's get into it.
Oh my God!
Before we get into spreading democracy for Super Earth, I did notice that 97% of you guys watching are not subscribed. So please make sure you subscribe, like, and comment to help the channel grow and help me to continue sharing these videos with you. With that said, the very first tip I have is the Arc Blitzer. We all know it's an amazing gun for bugs. However, it is terrible against the Annihilator Tentacle. So for that instance, I would just say don't use it. On that note, the Commander is actually great at taking out the Annihilator, only taking it out with 2 shots entirely. And with those 2 shots, it will completely blow out the backside, exactly like I did to my wife the other day. And from there, it'll be vulnerable to be able to kill easy. Now, I did go ahead and try out majority of the primary weapons to see which one has the best crowd control. I'll show you guys real quick in this video. The Tenderizer is complete garbage. I changed more mags with that than I changed my underwear. Just don't use it. The Adjudicator has a really cool scope, gives me Modern Warfare vibes. It's just not strong enough to deal with the bugs. It takes 1 full clip to take out a Pouncer. The Punisher, no, not the super badass anti-hero. Actually, it's a pretty strong gun, just really slow fire rate, which can be devastating when you get swarmed. The Slugger has a great stun lock against enemies, but very small damage rate, almost as small as mine. The Incendiary Breaker, we all know with the recent nerf, this gun is pretty much useless, with up to 80% recoil, no fire spread, and the ammo capacity cut entirely in half. Just don't use it. Don't do that to yourself. The Arc Blitzer is actually great for crowd control, but it's terrible against the larger enemies, even the Annihilator Tentacles, so I would say just try something else. The Sickle, unless you have a weird kink for being on the verge of death all the time, then just don't use it. The Purifier is up next, the absolutely worst gun ever. I use the video in real-time speed. Do not use this gun. It takes longer to shoot than it does for my wife to. Now, this one is a sexy beast that is great against bugs and bots alike. The biggest drawback is the explosive impact, which injures you if the shots are too close, and those little suckers love to be all up in your business, especially in Super Helldive. Alright, now that we've done all that testing, the primary we are going to be using today is the SG Breaker, the OG, truly badass. Now, for the stratagems, we have the 500 kg, the precision strike, the heavy machine gun, and the shield pack. And in case you're wondering, the precision over the rail cannon, because it's a lot shorter in terms of code input and cooldown. For this particular build, we are using the Peak Physique armor pack, and the secondary is the 113 Verdict. Now, despite the recent nerfs, I still think the Incendiary Impact is the best grenade that you can have. I tried the regular Impact, didn't like it. But the Incendiary, absolutely awesome because it just sets all the bugs on fire. My favorite thing about this build is the Shield Generator pack because it gives you that extra protection when you need to reload the heavy machine gun. And as you guys may know, the heavy machine gun does crazy amount of damage. It can even take out those Stalker nests, the Shrieker nest, all of that stuff from afar, where you don't have to waste a stratagem on that or have to call in a hell bomb. Alright, so like I mentioned, the main objective of this video is crowd control loadout. So the reason we have the OG Breaker is because it is a fully automatic shotgun, and it lets you take care of all of those small to medium enemies with no issue. Reloads super fast, has a really fast fire rate, and overall is very easy to use. Now, the heavy machine gun is one of the strongest stratagems against the bugs. You can use the commando, the rocket launcher, anything like that, but this one helps you keep control of that crowd because you continuously shoot rounds at those annoyingly ugly, disgusting, Verberous bugs so that you can kill them and spread democracy, and it just lets you continue going round after round. It's super effective, and with the peak physique armor, it makes it even better because you have less weapon sway. Also, I don't know if you guys know this, but the bugs are evolving. Look at this charger with his own jump pack. They're going completely ballistic now, and I don't know if there's a secret buff to the shield generator pack, but this thing is insane. It has saved me so many times. Look at right here. No damage. I took no damage from a full charge of a charger, where before that would have still given me at least half life damage. And if you see in that clip, I actually did stim. I think that was just out of habit, but I did not take any damage. So just keep that in mind. The shield might have gotten a buff. Look at the breaker just putting in work against the bugs, helping you control that environment. As I mentioned earlier, the SG breaker does have a pretty far fire range for it to be a shotgun, so you're not always going to be up close and personal, but it does help you with those bugs, and it helps you so much with the stalkers especially. It just completely stops them in place and lets you keep going. Now, for the Shrieker Nest and anything like that, that is why you also have the 500 kg, so you could get rid of that and not worry about it. Like I mentioned, the heavy machine gun is so good against the bugs, and it will help you so much against the spewers. Any spewer, bile, nursing, whatever it is, it'll just completely make them pop like a popsicle. And we haven't talked about the secondary weapon as of yet. The reason why I chose this versus the bushwhacker versus the grenade launcher is because, like I said, this is crowd control specifically. So we want to use that to get rid of all of the smaller bugs, especially when you need to reload, stuff like that. The incendiary grenades, like I mentioned, are just absolutely fire. No pun intended. They are fire. And then the breaker is actually strong enough to stun those tentacles and actually take them back down to the depths of hell where they belong, so they no longer bug you or your teammates. So your primary, secondary, and grenades are mainly for the smaller to medium bugs. The bigger bugs are the heavy machine gun and your 500 kg with the precision strike. Boom, look at that bug splatter. Beautiful. Did you know that the breaker is so strong that it'll actually blow the back out of a Bile Titan? Check this out. Boom, right there. Just kidding, don't try it. Now, you may be wondering, what about reloading with the heavy machine gun? Because it does take some time. Like I mentioned, I think they did a secret buff to that shield pack because the bugs will not touch you while you're reloading, which is perfect because by the time they get close enough, you're already done and you can take them all out. And this works both against the smaller crowds and the larger crowds as well. By the time they get close, you're good to go, fully reloaded. And if you're scared that they are going to hit you, just do a backwards swan dive and you're golden. Now, in the case you have been taking damage from the bugs and you're scared to reload again, just switch over to your primary so you could take them all out with ease. And then once you see that shield pack fully regenerated, then go ahead and reload the special weapon again. And if you're not fully yet convinced, this is another clip where I'm using the shield pack, get completely charged and stomped on by a charger, and take absolutely no damage. So just keep that in mind. Remember to keep moving around, keep using everything to your utility, your primary, secondary, special, and your incendiary grenades. Just keep going, especially when it's time for the extract. Just keep moving around, keep running around, keep shooting, especially if you're one of those people that like to wait, which you should be one of those people that like to wait for your teammates so that you can all extract together and not be a selfish prick and extract on your own. So once you see that your teammates are nearby and they're all within range of the extract, then go ahead and hop onto the ship so the countdown will begin. You guys will be able to go home, make love to your wife, feed the children, and say that you had another day of democracy for Super Earth. Also, just a side note, I don't know if this has been happening to you guys as well, but ever since the latest update, I've been seeing a lot of matches where it says that we failed to extract. But like you'll see here, all of us were intact, all of us were alive. We did make it home safe. We made democracy proud, had some stories to tell our children, and got the maximum amount of points in a super Helldive difficulty with clearing out the whole entire map. So let me know what you guys think, guys. This is the best loadout that I personally found for crowd control. Like I said, just make sure that you're keeping on top of those bugs, keeping them off of your teammates so that they can complete the objectives, and just overall having fun, guys. Let me know in the comments below, what are your best loadouts for crowd control or for anything in general. I would love to hear your guys' feedback, and stick around for the very end because I do have a quick honorary mention as far as the guns go. I think you guys will be excited for this one. Let me know what you guys think. Despite the recent nerfs, the cookout shotgun that's given with the Freedom's Flame Warbond is actually insane. It is a pump fire shotgun that actually controls the whole playing field. It will light the bugs on fire while also stun locking them, stopping them from advancing toward you. And even better is a P72 Crisper, which is a secondary single handheld flamethrower. Man, that thing is absolute monstrosity. It's so much fun to use. It's so crazy. I'm gonna do a full video on just the Freedom's Flames guns and Warbond in general, so stay tuned for that. And I hope you guys have a great day. Stay safe, stay hydrated, keep gaming, and most importantly, keep spreading democracy for Super Earth.